Atlas Shrugged is a remarkable book. Ayn Rand wrote it in 1957. It's not just a novel, it's a philosophical manifesto. The story is set in a dystopian United States. The economy is collapsing and society is falling apart. Rand uses this setting to explore big ideas like individualism, capitalism, and human achievement. The book's title comes from Greek mythology, Atlas, the titan who held up the world. In Rand's story, the Atlases are the great thinkers and doers who keep society running. But what if they refused to carry that burden? What if they shrugged? This book is more than just a story. It's a challenge to the reader. It asks us to think about our values and questions the role of government in our lives. It celebrates the power of the individual mind. Whether you agree with Rand or not, this book will make you think. The main character of Atlas Shrugged is Dagny Taggart. She's the operating vice president of Taggart Transcontinental, a railroad company. Dagny is smart, determined, and passionate about her work. She's fighting to keep her company alive against big challenges. The government is becoming more controlling, passing laws that make it hard for businesses to operate. At the same time, the most talented people are disappearing, leaving their jobs and vanishing without a trace. Dagny doesn't understand why and sees it as her mission to find out. As Dagny fights to save her railroad, she uncovers a mystery. Who is John Galt? This phrase keeps popping up when people feel hopeless. But Dagny discovers it's more than just a saying. John Galt is a real person at the center of everything. Dagny's journey takes her across the country, meeting other industrialists who share her values. Together, they try to keep their businesses running and fight against unfair laws and public opinion. But as things get worse, Dagny has to make a choice. Should she keep fighting or join the strike that John Galt is leading? John Galt is the mysterious figure at the heart of the story. He's a brilliant inventor who created a motor that could change the world but chose to hide it away. Galt is leading a strike of the mind, convincing the world's most talented people to withdraw from society. Hank Rearden is another key character, a steel magnate who invented a new metal stronger and lighter than any other. Instead of praise, he faces opposition as the government tries to take his invention away. Francisco d'Anconia seems like a playboy, but is actually a secret ally of John Galt. Francisco deliberately destroys his family's copper mining empire to deprive the looters of resources. Ragnar Daneskjöld is a pirate who sees himself as a reverse Robin Hood, raiding government ships and returning the money to those he believes earned it. These characters, along with Dagny, are the Atlases of the story, the ones holding up the world. Atlas Shrugged isn't just a story, it's a vehicle for Ayn Rand's philosophy, objectivism. Objectivism is based on the idea that there is an objective reality that exists independent of what we think or feel about it. Rand believed we can understand this reality through reason and logic. At the core of objectivism is the idea of rational self-interest. Rand argued that pursuing our own happiness is morally good, and that altruism or sacrificing for others was wrong. This doesn't mean being selfish in a harmful way. It means recognizing that your life and happiness have value. Objectivism also emphasizes the importance of individual rights. Rand believed that each person has the right to live for themselves and argued against any form of collectivism, including socialism and communism. She saw these as systems that sacrifice the individual for the group. Another key aspect of objectivism is the role of reason. Rand believed that reason was our primary tool for understanding the world and rejected faith or emotion as ways of knowing truth. In Atlas Shrugged, the characters who use reason are the heroes, while those who rely on emotion or force are the villains. One of the most controversial aspects of Atlas Shrugged is its moral stance. Ayn Rand argues that self-interest is good and that it's morally right to pursue your own happiness. Rand's heroes are not selfless. They don't sacrifice themselves for others. When people pursue their own goals, they create value for society. The flip side of this is Rand's criticism of collectivism. In Atlas Shrugged, the villains are always talking about the public good, but their actions hurt everyone. Characters who demand help without earning it are seen as looters, taking value without creating it. Whether you agree with Rand or not, her ideas force us to think deeply about our values. Near the end of Atlas Shrugged, John Galt gives a speech that lays out the core of Ayn Rand's philosophy. It's like a manifesto within the novel. Galt explains why he led the strike and talks about the importance of the human mind. He argues that thinking is the source of all human progress, but says society punishes its best thinkers. Galt rejects this, saying each person has the right to live for themselves. Galt also talks about money, saying it's a tool of trade between free people. The speech also covers Rand's views on government. Galt argues for a minimal state, saying the government's only job should be to protect individual rights. Atlas Shrugged has had a huge impact, selling millions of copies and changing many lives. The book has influenced politics, economics, and culture. Some love it, others hate it, but few can ignore it. In literature, Atlas Shrugged is unique as a philosophical novel that uses story to explore ideas. Rand's approach was different. She created a whole world to showcase her philosophy. The book inspired many other writers, some writing similar philosophical novels, and others writing rebuttals to Rand's ideas. The book's impact goes beyond literature. It's influenced political movements, with many libertarians citing Rand as an inspiration. Some politicians have said the book shaped their views, and the Tea Party movement in the US often referenced Atlas Shrugged. Business leaders have also been influenced, seeing the book as a defense of free market capitalism. But the book's influence isn't all positive. Critics say it promotes selfishness and ignores the complexities of human society. Some see it as justifying greed, while others say it oversimplifies economics and politics. Despite these criticisms, the book continues to spark debate. It's often assigned in schools and colleges as a starting point for discussions about individualism, capitalism, and the role of government. Atlas Shrugged is a controversial book that has faced many criticisms. Critics say the characters are flat and the dialogue unrealistic. The strongest criticisms are about the ideas in the book. Many object to Rand's moral philosophy, saying it promotes selfishness. Economists say it presents an oversimplified view of economies. Despite these criticisms, many find it a thought-provoking exploration of important ideas. Despite being written over 60 years ago, Atlas Shrugged remains relevant. Many of the issues it addresses are still debated today. Questions about the role of government in the economy are still hot topics. Discussions about individual rights versus collective responsibility continue. The tension between freedom and regulation is as strong as ever. The book's warnings about excessive government control still resonate. Some see parallels between the dystopian world of Atlas Shrugged and current events. Others find Rand's celebration of innovation and entrepreneurship inspiring. In a world of rapid technological change, her ideas about the power of the individual mind seem relevant. The relevance of Atlas Shrugged goes beyond its political and economic ideas. The book raises fundamental questions about human nature and society. What drives human progress? What is the nature of achievement? What do we owe to each other? These are timeless questions. Whether you agree with Rand's answers or not, engaging with these questions is valuable. Atlas Shrugged challenges readers to think deeply about their values and beliefs. It encourages us to question assumptions about how society should work. That's why, love it or hate it, Atlas Shrugged continues to be read, discussed, and debated.